Yo, what up, people? Welcome back, or welcome. I hope that this finds you when it needs to find you. I hope that you hear what you need to hear. And today, I would like to remind you that what I mean when I say those things is that this feels like a case of divine timing. This feels like what I say and when I say it has a lot more weight than I give credit for, and a lot more weight than maybe the traction that I'm getting online gives me credit for. All that aside, I just feel like these are messages that need to be out when they need to be out. They need to be written when they need to be written, spoken when they need to be spoken. And so without further ado, the message that I have for you and I today is try not to force things. Try not to force it. I know that that can be incredibly frustrating and heart-wrenching when you feel that you are waiting on others or possibly your surroundings to feel like they're aligning, to feel like you are ready for that. But I promise you that that can mean either one of two things. The first thing being that you will never truly be ready, so you have to take those steps anyways. Or the second thing, which I feel we need to hear right now, is don't force it. Don't force yourself to connect with something when you feel that you are disconnected from yourself that is only going to harm you and harm the thing that you care about. It will only hurt you, and I know that you can feel that. I know that you can feel that way more than you may want to admit, because that may mean that you may need to take the healthy route. And the healthy route would be putting something down. The healthy route would be putting it to the side for the time being when you feel like shit. But truthfully, what we do, and maybe I'm just lumping what I do onto everybody else, but I'd like to say we, because I know a lot of people that do this. Truthfully, what we do is we force ourselves into things in an effort to fill the hole. Nothing is going to fill that hole. Not until you truly are at peace with yourself. Not until you truly come to terms with the hole that you feel. It's not about doing something and throwing yourself into your work. And sure, that works for some people, but do they really lead a happy life? I'd like for them and you to ask yourself that honestly. Do the people who force themselves into this harsh reality of accomplishing more, are they any better off or any happier than people who understand their boundaries and their limitations when they need to understand their boundaries and limitations? I'm not really too sure. But the reality is that knowing your boundaries and limitations means that you know when you are drained and you are hurt and you need a reset. And approaching things that you care about when you are drained and hurt and need a reset is only going to make you more drained, more hurt, and more in need of a reset, you know? So just take the reset and just reboot for a little bit. I know that that's frustrating. I know that every second feels like a minute, and every minute feels like an hour, and every hour feels like a week. I get that. I get that every time that you take a break, every time that you put it on pause, you feel like the pressure is mounting times 10. But the truth is, it's not. The truth is, you are getting closer to yourself the more you reset. And who are you going to be if you achieve everything? Who are you going to be once you achieve all of that if you don't know how to reset? You're going to be a miserable person, to say the least. Let's leave it at that, you know? And an example that I want to show you that kind of backs that is if it's raining outside and you are driving, the slower you drive, the slower the pace of the rain. The faster you drive into that rain, the more force you put behind what you are throwing into that rain, into the thing that is trying to slow you down, let's say, the harder the rain will hit your windshield. It doesn't get any easier or more peaceful if you try and force your way through things. And forcing is never going to benefit you. What is natural is what will benefit you. What you need will come to you. And what is natural is what's most meant for you. And you need to realize that and put that pride, I guess, that pride to the side and say, I don't feel up to it today. I don't feel like I can do it today. And to be honest, I think I need to honor that. To be honest, I feel like what I need is to reset, and that reset will get me back to where I need to be. And once you take that, it might ease up a little bit. It might ease up. Just like that rain when you start to drive a little bit slower. It might just slow down a little bit, you know? And not everything is meant to be easy, including the way that we feel sometimes, including the fact that we feel this heavy weight. And sometimes nothing is supposed to take you out of that. Sometimes you need to sit in that. And the fact that that is not easy will grow you more than you can possibly realize. So sometimes looking for a distraction isn't exactly the best option. And especially if that distraction is something that kind of means the world to you. That scared the crap out of me. But anyways, if it means the world to you and you don't feel like life is easy, why would you complicate things on that front? Why would you add more weight onto the thing that you feel means so much to you? Why would you tear down one of the things that is a pillar of you pushing through this existence? Why are you going to hurt yourself? And along with that, why are you going to hurt the thing that you care about? You know? That's like being toxic and running to somebody and throwing all your problems on somebody, and then once they don't respond well because they're overwhelmed, then you blame it on them. You know? I've done that before for sure, but does that mean that it's healthy and right? No. So treat your passions the same way. Anything you're passionate about, sometimes you need time, you know? And that goes to everything. Sometimes you need time. Sometimes you just need to slow down and just take your time and take part in the world that's around you. You know, it's not meant to be easy sometimes, and you need to be okay with that. And you need to slow down and take part in that for what it is, you know, and that's a common theme in a lot of these things that I say, is to be present with that pain, with that uncomfortability, to be present. Just be present, because easy is not going to get you any further. Uncomfortable is going to grow you. So the more uncomfortable you are, the more you will grow. And if you are uncomfortable with not doing something, then you need to just not do something. And you need to not force it. And again, if you force it on a front that you care about so much, then you're going to destroy it, slowly but surely. There are moments where you need to put your head down and work, where you need to get over that hump and just deal with what you need to deal with. It's a responsibility at the end of the day. It's work at the end of the day. It's something that you need to take care of at the end of the day. However, if you are truly disconnected from yourself, expecting you to connect so greatly to the thing that you care about that it will make you completely forget about the fact that you are disconnected from yourself, it's a little bit delulu, don't you think? Like, you can't expect that, you know, if you're not hungry, that you're going to eat something and suddenly you're going to be hungry, you know? I get where you're coming from, where this is a completely different topic, where this is a passion. It's something that's made you feel things that are beautiful. It's something that's made you feel things that are, you know, what you would like to consider divine. And this by no means means that you need to put it down for weeks at a time, months at a time. However, you can't be dependent on something for a feeling. You can't be dependent on something to fill a gap, you know? And like I said, not everything is meant to be easy. And sometimes you have to, like, love that grind. You have to love the grind, but other times you just need to take that pressure off of yourself and realize that it's not healthy to force these things. And I know that you feel it when it feels like shit. I know that you feel it when you feel like shit and then try to make up for it by doing something and then feel like more shit. So why would you keep replicating that? You know? Like, let's be honest, that would suck. If you just keep compounding something that feels horrible for you and continuously do that just because you feel that you need to continuously do that. The pressure is not as great as you make it seem. The pressure is not really, the only person that's putting that pressure on is you. The only person that's making an effort to apply that pressure and, you know, also harm yourself at the same time, it's you. Nobody is forcing you to make that end meet, especially if this is something that you are just simply passionate about, something that you love. The only person that's going to want to see you make it happen right here, right now is you. And you are your biggest critic. I understand that, you know? But you have to understand that sometimes you're allowed to just fall into the things that you need and understand when you need a reset and understand when you need something that's, you know, bigger than that creation right then and there, you know? It's hard to feel that there's something that's bigger than that creation. It's hard to feel like there's something more important than your passion and the things that you love, but I think what's more important is not hurting those passions and the things that you love by forcing yourself just to act on something that you don't feel, you know? Again, if you're not hungry, you're not going to eat and then suddenly become hungry, you know? Not unless it's ice cream, because for some reason it has the ability to do that. But the reality is that you're not going to just, you know, make it all happen, make it all go away just because you're forcing yourself to. It doesn't work like that. And I get it that pressure will mount. I get it that it feels like 10 times more than something that you could ever imagine. I get it. I go through it, you know? Me going home tonight, I'm sure that I'll have enough time on my hands where I'll feel like if I just took my time to just relax, then I'm going to feel like I'm stressing. But I also have to understand that relaxing combined with being guilty is not actually relaxing. And that's a whole different episode within itself and a whole different topic within itself. Is I just kind of need to understand that if I don't force these things, but I worry about not forcing these things, then I'm going to be hurt, you know? Truth is, you're kind of going to be hurt anyways. Truth is, you're kind of going to be scared anyways. Truth is that if you force things, it's not going to make it feel better. So why force things? Why hurt the things that you care about and the image that you have about the things that you care about in your head over just this idea that you have in your head, over the idea that this world is closing in that you have in your head? Because the truth is, you're not a problem just for taking time to feel like this world isn't such a problem, you know? We beat ourselves up all the time over just doing things that we know that we need to do, doing things that we know that we need to take part in. Like, it's a struggle to take a break at work when I need to eat. I'd rather eat while on the clock so that I could still make money, you know? It's a struggle to, like, sit there and take my time in the morning when I wake up. Why is that? I always need to capitalize off of something? No. Sometimes I need to understand where I'm at, and sometimes I need to ease that pressure up because the pressure of this world is already enough for me to handle. So why don't I do that? Why don't I take my time? And I get it as well. If you do those things, if you work, if you run, if you bounce back and forth, that you hardly have times for these passions. So to feel no passion for the passion that you care so much about, I get it that can hurt. I get it. However, you're just unintentionally adding more pressure onto it by realizing that, well, I've got no time, and then I've got no this, and I've got no that, and I need to do it now. You don't need to do it now. You will come to realize that there's always time for things. There's always time. You will always have time, unless your time is just meant to expire. And in that case, for sure, that's unfortunate. However, meant to is the big part of that statement. What is meant to come to you is meant to come to you. If tomorrow you don't wake up, that's the last thing I want for you. However, that's what was meant for you. And maybe that's just my way of coping. You don't need to believe that. Maybe that's just me trying to reassure myself because I've lost too many people for me to feel like that's not for a reason. However, I'm a true believer in the fact that if it's meant for you, it will find you. So if this passion that you don't have passion for in this moment in time is meant for you, you will find time for it. And in those moments, you will need to put your head down. That was gross. Sorry, guys. I'm a bitch. Anyways, what was I saying? Anyways, if that passion is meant to come to you, to be there for you, you will find time for it. And that's what I was going to say. And those are the moments when, yeah, you need to put your head down, you need to work. And sometimes through that, you're going to feel like, I don't really want to do this right now because I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. But when you're in full flow, that's when you force through those things. When you're in full flow, that's when you say, fuck it, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's see how much I could get out of myself. And then you take a break. However, if you're so disconnected that the only thing that you can think about is how you're disconnected and maybe this will fill the gap. No, nothing's going to fill the gap. Nothing's going to just magically make you feel better because all of a sudden this is going on, because all of a sudden I've found this deep connection to myself that wasn't there about 5 seconds ago, you know? I go through these old things that I wrote and I will feel so disconnected from them because I'm not in the mood to be connected to them. However, in other moments, as long as I don't look at it when I'm in that state of mind, I feel like this is the most beautiful thing that I've ever written. So I need to kind of just take it slow, understand where I'm at, understand what I need, and the same goes for you. Just understand where you're at, understand what you need to do, understand where you need to be at, understand the things that you need to do to reset, and understand that you need a reset, and that reset is currently more valuable than just throwing yourself into water that you can't swim in, you know? Why would you force yourself to drown? Why are you going to continuously put yourself in a spot where you know right now you are going to struggle? And in the meantime, hurt the thing that you care the most about. Why? You care about it. You should care about you. Take care of you. Take care of you. Like, and take care of those passions that you're taking part in, you know? I think I repeated myself. But anyways, you guys get the point. And this is me been yapping about the same fucking thing for 17 minutes, but I really feel like you need to hear that. And I really feel like I need to hear that too, you know? Like, I want to rush these projects through and I want to, you know, make an end meet. But who's forcing me to do that? It's me. Who's forcing me to feel like there's this immense amount of pressure? It's me. And if I'm doing that, and that hurts the thing that I care so much about, if it makes me feel like my project is any less valuable because I'm doing that, that's a little bit fucking backwards. I'm diving into this because I care about it? No, I'm diving into this because I have some toxic dependency on it, and I'm ruining it in the process. That's backwards. That's dumb. That's so stupid. Can I not? Can I just take a break, take the time that I need, and then come back to it and feel like I'm fucking flying when I do it? Why don't I just do that? You know, it's a lot easier said than done. I get that. I get that me saying this isn't just going to make it like, oh, poof, it's gone. But you need to at least act the way that you want to treat yourself until the point where you fully are treating yourself that way. And this is a huge first step. So, anyways, guys, thank you for listening. Don't fucking force it. And when you're ready to force it, force it. I believe in you. No matter what you do, you're going to overcome this hurdle. You're going to be back. And when you're back, push through. When you're back, put your head down and work. And I believe in you to do that. But right now, what you might need is to just slow down. And what I might need is to slow down as well. So, thanks for giving me an excuse to say all this shit out loud so that maybe it could sink in a little bit more. Thanks for being here and listening, even if you're not listening. You know, thank you for existing, because this world needs people like you. And I hope that that's enough to carry you through those moments when you don't feel like enough, because you are enough. So, all right, guys, peace out. Thank you for listening. I love you guys. Be good. Don't force it.